Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. Hope we're all well. Welcome to Dan ROX Box on this Monday evening. And yes, I am bloody cold. It is freezing. Yeah, just before I came on live, a penguin and a polar bear went past the landing. It was, yeah, peckish. But how are we all? Hope we're all well. Shardy, I don't know. I hate updates. I can't be doing with updates. They do my head in. I'm still not got my head around the black's background with the white writing. Yeah, I don't know if anybody else knows how to change it, then that would be great. Hey, Colin. Hey, Addy. Nice to see people on here. And yeah, how quite nostalgic today because we're going back to where it all began, all the way back in March the 21st, when lockdown happened and we decided to come on live and start talking to people, giving them something to connect with, giving them something to keep their spirits up. So yeah, and it's always nice. I love this workshop. It is one of our full day workshops, and it's one that yeah, it's always so good to go back to. I can never ever reiterate how important the base chakra, the root chakra, is. And it's so nice, you know, I've got my team now. I've got some people who have done the throat. They're ready to go on to the third eye once everything's all clear. And I've got people on different stages from the throat down to the base. So it's always nice when I've got a new group to go down to the base and just sit with these crystals and work with these crystals and just think, this is nice. This is so great. Nice and grounding. Yeah. So it is a nice one to work with, and a lot of people agree afterwards why we do the base first and why we can spend just a day working on the base chakra and those crystals that resonate with it. So yeah, so tonight it's going to be it's only going to be a quick session, just to go through the crystals, touch on a bit about the base chakra, and then I'll leave you guys to enjoy the rest of your evening. So yeah, so it's the first chakra, the red chakra, although there's a couple of red crystals that I bring along, but majority of them are different colors. And this is our foundation block. In years we've worked with the base chakra, or if we've had any underactive, any blockages from the base chakra, we could take it back to the time we were in the womb to the age of 7, and then we go back again. 7 sevens are 49. Yeah. Whatever 7 sevens are, and then we go back. So 49. So then we go back again to 50 to 56. So yeah, if we're over 56 and we find that there is something resonating with us, the base chakra, then there might be something from the womb to the age of 7. Then there might be something else that's happened around the age of 50 to 56 as well. But obviously anything that goes on in our lives can affect our base chakra, can affect that fundamental foundation block. that it is, and it's crucial that that is balanced. If that chakra is not balanced, nothing else on top is. And it is literally kids play, you know, when the kids are on and building those blocks. If that first block is not centered, then the others aren't. They're all just going to crumble down. So very important. And it's our stability, it's our support, it's where we look at if we are getting a bit reckless, if we're not taking responsibility in our lives or with things around our lives. So things like, you know, money management. How good are we at managing our money? If we're somebody who takes our friends out on a Friday night and pays for all their drinks and we don't have any money left to pay bills, then that is something we need to look at around the base chakra. We need to be able to be responsible, and we need to provide support and stability to our lives. So providing a shelter, making sure that we've got food, making sure we've got we're living is fundamental. And if there's anything around there that's out of balance, then it's something we need to look at on the base chakra. Chakras can be too open, but our chakras can never be closed. The only time that our chakras are closed will be when we're lying on that morgue slab. So I don't like to say, even though it can be too open, I don't like to say open for an overactive chakra, because we fall into that pit of saying closed. Because again, growing up, we learn our opposites of open, close, on, off, left, right, up, down. So I do like to use overactive if we've got a open chakra, or an underactive chakra if it's just not at the balanced rate. So they're the two words I like to use to do that. And on this workshop, we work with the pendulum as well, because not only can we look at ourselves of our chakras are doing, but a pendulum is a great way to work with the chakras and to see whether they are active, overactive, or underactive. And that's just by going by our yes and our no's, which what we go through in the practical in the afternoon. So just placing the chakra, and you could do this yourself, or you can work in pairs and get somebody to scan over you and then you scan over them, and just placing the pendulum over your base chakra. Now your base is at the base of your spine. It's in the pelvic regions. However, I still respect that people have got private spaces. So as much as it's nice to work directly on an area, when we work on the base, I don't like to work directly on there. The actual space for the base is in between the genitals and the bottom. So we don't work on that directly anyway. And if we do go to see somebody for healing and they go to work directly there, kindly bring yourself to get off the couch and don't go back to them. We don't need to be that intrusive. We don't need to be that invasive. Some people still work directly on the genitals. I still don't. Doesn't matter whether there is a blanket, whether there is clothing, that's still a little bit of privacy and it needs respecting. So I always work on the thighs when I'm working on the base chakra, and mine are quite nice and chunky, so it's a great platform to balance your stones on there. And so I normally work with two stones when I'm working on the base, so one on the one thigh and one on the other, and they work because they give off energy. Everything's got an energy. So while you've got one tumble stone and that's giving off the rippling effect, then you've got the other stone on the other thigh and that too is giving that rippling effect. So in the middle, they meet where the base chakra is. so you don't need to worry about placing it directly there. Yeah. So yeah, it is somewhere where I don't. For myself and for my own personal crystals, then I do. There are some times where I will lie in bed and I will have a crystal down where the base chakra is and work on that. And for you guys as well, I would encourage that. But when you've got a client coming in, you do just need to, and especially for me, when I was doing my one-to-one healing work, I did have a lot of females come to see me. And yeah, even though I'm a homosexual male, there is still that boundary, and there is still that, okay, I'm still got a male energy, and you don't know what background that person's gone into. So, you know, you don't want to put your energy into a space where, you know, they've come in for healing and actually you've done more damage than you have good. So it's always good to be respectful, and it's always good to just, you know, do things that are quite nice. I mean, it's like the throat chakra. When we get up to the throat chakra, I don't really get people to place a crystal directly on the throat chakra. For me, mine is busted. Doesn't matter what healing I get. As soon as somebody goes anywhere near my throat, I am coughing, spluttering. I need a lot of work done to it. I think it's all the talking I do. But again, you don't know what background those people have gone into. If, you know, if there's a guy that's had, you know, hands around his neck, a lady who's been throttled around the throat, that's going to be a real sensitive area. So you don't want to be putting crystals there, because they might be tiny, and we only use tiny crystals when we do the throat chakra workshop. But even something small can feel like a house brick. So even when we get to the throat, I work just on the shoulders and we place crystals there, because again, we've got that rippling effect to go there. So it is consideration. It's looking and thinking, okay, how can I work with this person without working on that area? And, you know, you've got means to do that. So there, that's a bit about the base chakra, Muladhara, for the Sanskrit word. And the symbol on that, if we look on the symbol of the base chakra, we should see the square on that. There's so many different variations of the base chakra, but there is one where we have the square in the center, and that square represents earth, and it's always and so we've got the symbol of earth, and that also means stability, balance. Yeah, we're not like a triangle where we're not really got that balance. We've got the square there, so we know that what we're dealing with on this chakra is a balancing energy, a stable energy, and a supportive energy. So the crystals, let's move on to those. So black tourmaline. Yeah, yeah, I know I've just gone on to the throat chakra, but I will bring it back down to the base. But the throat chakra is just another area where you need to be more cautious when you've got people coming in to see you. I mean, there's so many people, and I've seen so many photos of people with, you know, grids of crystals on there, and I just sit there and think, wow, I wouldn't be able to handle that. I wouldn't be able to feel comfortable with that. Anything more than one crystal there, and you're going to be so conscious of that crystal being there that you're not going to be able to sit back, relax, and focus it. And it's the same as why I use crystals on each thigh, not just because that's the way I was trained, but during our training, we were working in pairs, and the lady who I was working with, she did have a crystal, and she placed it in my genital area rather than the thighs. She placed it there, and automatically I just knew it was there, and I just could not switch off to enjoy the treatment, because all the way through I was conscious that there was a crystal there, and also it made me feel like I had to restrict my breathing so then it wouldn't roll off or it wouldn't fall away, because if it fell off, she would pick it up and go back in that space again to place the crystal. So it was like, right, okay, I need to stay completely still, just breathe in my lungs and not with my stomach, and just try and keep still. So at the end of it, she was like, oh, how was that? And I was like, it was really uncomfortable, because all I could think about is that crystal. So less is more. Less is more. And the first crystal is the beautiful black tourmaline. When we first started off thinking of doing the chakra workshops, I was asking people on the it is really intrusive, and I know when we're working we want to get to the source, but sometimes there is many ways of getting to that source without actually being directly on top of it. So yeah, it's just common manners. It's just having some respect, and just knowing that there are boundaries. So yeah, so when we were sorting out these workshops, and that was back in 2018, so 2017 we were getting these together, and people who came to the stall, I would ask them, because there were so many people who run away from the base chakra. There's so many people, because you mentioned that word grounding and people run. No, I don't want to work with crystals to be grounded. I want to work with crystals so I can get off my face, so I can be ET, so I could be buzzing and high as a kite, woo, which is all nice, but we need to be grounded before we can do that. So when people were saying that they don't like to ground, it got me asking questions. So why don't you like grounding? And most people were saying that because black tourmaline is too heavy for them, and they don't really like smoky quartz. And so when I was doing little surveys, little questions at the stall, it became apparent that so many people knew about black tourmaline being good for grounding and smoky quartz, but that was about their limit. They didn't know much more. So it became apparent to me that, okay, I need to bring X amount of crystals here, and we need to work on the X amount of grounding here, because yes, we can ground, but we don't need it heavy all the time. So we need to bring in various levels of grounding to this workshop. So my first workshop I ever did, we had 10 crystals. Little did I know back then that people would actually want to come back to do the sacral, come back to do the solar, and not just work with the 7 main chakras, but we're now going to work with the 7 higher chakras as well as. So I did cut it down to 6, and then when I found out that I was going to actually do the higher chakras, then some of those that came to our first base chakra have settled in nicely in the Earth Star. So people aren't going to miss out. They're still going to be there, but they're a little bit further on in the workshops. So black tourmaline, most of us know this stone. Most of us have heard about this stone. Easily obtainable, very easy to gain, and it's quite inexpensive. It's very affordable, black tourmaline, which is why I like it for the base chakra, because it's readily out there. I would say that really it should be an Earth Star chakra stone. It does take you below, so it does connect you to the Earth Star, but because of how common it is, it's essential that it's out there to be worked with the base. So this is black tourmaline. Now, I've mentioned grounding. It's also great for absorbing negative energy, and it's really good for protection. So it's really nice for us to use this if we need protecting, especially from Joe blogs, especially from the general public. If we are working as a counsellor, if we're working in schools, if we're working where there's a lot of people, or we're doing one-to-ones, we don't know what is going to come through that door, and we don't know what is going to be hooked onto those people. So black tourmaline is really good to have in your healing room, in your counselling room, on your table, on your desk. And so whoever's going to come into your space, if there's anything that needs to be banished, black tourmaline is going to take care of that. It's going to unhook it, and it's going to take that away. So we might find that if we're working with people, or if we're doing one-to-one on clients, after our working day, we are drained, we're knackered, we're exhausted. And some of that could be because we've took on some of their baggage. They've unhooked and it's gone on to us. So black tourmaline is really great to use in that scenario. So we don't feel that drain. So we've still got a little bit of our own energy for us. So when we've left the work, we can still do what we want to do, rather than set in and just be like, I can't do nothing because I'm so drained. But yes, but grounding, so good for the base, good to bring in stability. Now for me, black tourmaline is not my grounding crystal. It's too heavy for me. I walk around after a while and it feels like I've got cement on my feet. Too heavy. Really slows me down. But it will be good for those people who need slowing down. For those people who've got things going on, but they rather put their head into other projects, into other goals, into other challenges, and not really face with what really needs to be facing. So black tourmaline is a great one to give to them, because it slows down their energy, brings that cement onto their feet, slows them down, so then their energies catch up with them, and they think, oh, okay, I need to deal with this, I need to work with this. Yes, you do. You need to work on that. You can't hide away. Don't put your head in the sand. You need to deal with it. So yeah, but grounding, it's there. It takes you, like as I said, it takes you under the earth. The Earth star is 6 inches below our feet, about 6 to 8 inches. So it just take you a little bit down further. So that's one that we can use for the base chakra. And as I said beforehand, Smoky Quartz was the other crystal that people were saying to me. So a beautiful Smoky Quartz, which is great. It's brilliant for releasing negativity. So yes, Georgie, this is the reason we're coming back on here, because when we first did this, we did this on my personal page. So we're coming back on here to do it, and it's linked to YouTube. So if you go to Dan ROX Box on YouTube, our channel is there, and you'll be able to play this there, or just go onto our business page and it will be saved in there. Okay, so yeah, black tourmaline absorbs negativity, Smoky Quartz releases negativity. And I will just quickly say, if you are working with black tourmaline and you're working with it to absorb that negativity, please cleanse it daily. Please, yeah, smudge it, take it into the shower with you. But yeah, if you're starting the day, make sure your black tourmaline is fresh and ready to go, as you are fresh and ready to go. And at the end of the day, when you get rid of your work crap, make sure you get rid of your black tourmaline's crap as well. So twice a day I would recommend, if we're working with black tourmaline for that reason. But Smoky Quartz is here. Now this is clear quartz, which has the inclusions of aluminium going through it, which gives it the smoky effect. So anything that has quartz automatically takes us into a bit of clarity, into a bit of focus. So for some, it's a good grounding, but it can give us a bit of upliftment, and it can take us to our mind, take us into our head. So for some of us, we might not want to deal with what we're going through in the mind. We will just want to deal with it in the energies, but don't want to focus on it too much, because it might bring back flashbacks. It might bring back other things that we've spent a lot of work on dealing with. So for some people, smoky quartz can give that intense, and again, there might be a little bit of work there that we need to do, but smoky quartz might not be the best. But it is a beautiful stone. I love working with smoky quartz. Anywhere we have any tension, any build up. Oh, it is. Thank you. Let's not get too confused with people. Cheers, cheers, Addy. So yeah, now we've moved on to smoky quartz. You might need to be my little reminder every time I go to change. So smoky quartz, yeah, anywhere where we've got tension, we've got build up, any blockages, we could just use smoky to release that negativity, set it free, put it into better use than what it is being stored into our body. So yeah, but I do get an air element with smoky. This is definitely earth. This is definitely down there. But yeah, we can get a bit floaty with smoky quartz. So if you are that floaty, you might not feel that smoky quartz is actually doing anything for you. So yeah, it all depends on us as individuals, on what we can work with, what we can feel works for us. So that's why there are so many. And the base for grounding stones for the base chakra, there are hundreds and thousands, literally thousands of crystals we can use, because it's such a particular chakra, and it's so nice for us to find that one that really works for us. There just seems to be so many, because it's so important that we find that. If we need a little bit of fire, then garnet is for us. Okay, and also a little bit more for the males rather than the females, and that's because with the base chakra we do have the male genitals, so they are in with the base chakra. So if there's any lack in libido, if there's any infertility, yeah, then garnet can help to bring in that boost, help to heighten the passion. But yeah, definitely fire in us. If we've been ill, if we've been struggling for a long time, then garnet is a nice one to come in, really take that energy, that fire straight into our base, ignite that furnace, ignite our inner passion, and allow that fire then just to transmute all the way up. So it's like, right, because if our base isn't lit, then no other chakras are being lit. So where we've been in for a while, same as like with winter, so many of us go into that state of hibernation, and we go into our little caves and we disappear from socialness until spring arrives. And I think, you know, many, you know, thousands of years ago, when we would be a bit like the bears and hibernate, when we come out in the springtime, the first thing we would do is work on the base chakra. We would look at that base. Okay, I need to eat. I need to see how the shelter is supported me throughout these months. Does it need any repairs? you'd go into that survival mode. We've come out of that hibernation, we go into survival mode. So we'll go into the base chakra and work on that. So pretty much at the beginning of the year, I like to work on the base for a couple of weeks, just see how that is going, carry my base crystals around with me, and just make sure that that is ticking over, that is balanced, and then work on the sacral. So it's something that we can really work throughout the year on, with our chakras, taking a few weeks on each of the chakras. But yeah, so this is a real nice one to use, and it is that color red, very deep red, but we have got that red, so it really resonates nicely with the base or the root chakra. You might want to avoid working with this for a lengthy time if you do have high blood pressure, because of me saying how it heightens and reignites that furnace. It does rise the blood pressure. So if we do have high blood pressure, I would exchange garnet for ruby. I'd bring ruby to the mix and leave garnet behind. For the odd hold, that it's absolutely fine. But if you're working with it for the whole week and carrying it, sleeping with it, you will perhaps find that you are getting a bit of you'll feel that your blood pressure is going a little bit too high if you suffer from that. Georgie, absolutely. I had a nice raw piece for our wedding. So for the night of our wedding, I had a big raw piece of garnet in our bed, just to make sure that, we didn't go to sleep, sweetheart. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if your blood pressure is all good, then yeah, perfect to sleep with. And especially at the moment with these cold nights, it's a real nice stone just to huddle up to, giving us that little bit of warmth. You'll find that it doesn't take long to warm up garnet. It's there, and it's a beautiful stone to work with that. Okay. Another piece of garnet there. So yeah, that's one of my go-tos for the base chakra, for any imbalances around there. Do garnet and emerald go together? Yeah, I don't see why not. And emerald is a real nice one for the heart, because we've got that bit of grounding in there. But emerald is part of the beryl family, so we do have that little bit of flow. So it's a bit of grounding, but it gives us a little bit of flow. So yeah, it would be really nice. A nice combination, garnet and emerald. Yeah, lovely. And also we could take garnet a little bit to the heart as well, like we do with ruby, especially if ruby is mixed with fuchsite. The red and the green we could use on the heart. So we can take garnet to a little bit there, but just be careful with this passion. Because sometimes we can have passion which makes us love, but sometimes passion can bring in anger, which is why with the red, the red flag, some people can see red and can bring on those angry desires, bring on anger. So yeah, a little bit. I mean, I would put ruby to the heart more so than garnet, but yeah, beautiful combination. Yeah, Black Tourmaline will take things away from us as well. Absolutely. Yeah. So that is it. So if we are working with somebody and they've unhooked their baggage and we feel it's onto us, then we can definitely use Black Tourmaline just to unhook anything from us. I mean, we can work it around our aura or keeping it in our pocket, keeping it in our bra. The energy is going to be going into black tourmaline and not us. So we should feel a little bit more vitalized. We should feel like we've got a little bit more energy at the end of our working day. Obviously, it depends on your hours. If we've done a 12-hour shift, then we are going to feel knackered. But if we're doing a job that we should still have a little bit more energy for us, but we find that we're not, and if that job involves working with so much around the public or people, then it might just be that you're taking on their stuff. So yeah, keep that tourmaline in your bra, in your pocket, wherever you've got room, and it will just take on other people's crap. Okay. And the next one is the Shiva Lingam, the Shiva stone. So this is sourced from the Narmada River in India. It's the only place it is found. And only Hindus can go into that river to source the stone. And they can only do that at one part of their year when it's under one of their festivals that they can go into the river and source it. And we're so lucky. Ours comes from a lovely family who live by the Narmada River. So they go in, they source it themselves and polish it themselves. And yeah, in Hindu, it's very much in their religion. It's such a symbolic shape because it's a shape for Lord Shiva, the god of destruction, but not as in destruction as in bad, destruction as in, yes, something bad is going to happen, but we need that to happen for things to grow. So like a wildfire is devastating. We look at that and it's destructing. But after that, underneath all that carbon, new life goes. So sometimes we might feel a little bit destruction's going on in our lives. Sometimes we need to ride that out to see the new growth, to see the new chapter that there is. So yeah, Lord Shiva gave the symbol of the lingam to this. And Shiva in itself, the lingam, represents creation, because in this shape we have the cosmic egg, which is female, but then we also have the phallic symbol, which is male. So both male and female energies are in this, which gives creation, a universal creation. So very, very apt for the base chakra, making sure that we are balanced in those energies. Are we carrying too much male? Are we carrying too much female? Do we just need those energies to be balanced? And Shiva stone is a great stone for that. Some people ask whether, if it's grey, does that mean it contains more of the energy than the brown? For sake, if the brown was masculine, does this mean the stone's more feminine energy? But it's not. This brown here is iron oxide, and that's because Shiva stones were found due to a meteorite. The meteorite went into the Narmada River, and there was iron oxide deposited, and the impact of the meteorite hitting the river allowed the iron oxide to melt and to bleed onto the stone. So I don't go too much with the color of what is that energy. The energy is in there. Lord Shiva's put that in there for us. So yeah, if we've got any imbalances there, then we can certainly work it with Shiva. And it is there for me to hold and to walk us through that life, especially if it's going through the destruction stage, the despair, or if we see those storm clouds coming. Just because we're on our true path, it doesn't mean that it's going to be full of unicorns, butterflies, and farting leprechauns. there are going to be storm clouds. There's still going to be turbulence. There's still going to be trouble. And when we see them storm clouds coming, as humans, we do two things. We either go completely off the rails and completely go into denial, and that's where we perhaps find that we are trying to block it out by drinks or other alternatives, or we try and take a detour and go, actually, no, I'm just going to stop my life for a bit, or I'm just going to go back, or I'm going to go round there through that village into that town to get onto that. Shiva comes to us to hold our hand and to remind us that, hey, there is a storm cloud ahead, but I'm going to walk you through this. And it does. I've used Shiva for so much of my trials and tribulations that I've gone through, and Shiva has held my hand, and it's still holding my hand afterwards. And it's like, woof, okay, you know, it has got a bit of quartz in it, so yeah, we don't just stay in the base. We can get a bit of a vortex going, and we can find ourselves enlightening and going up in the energy field. So yeah, but again, we don't go high and low, we go low, high. So it always allows us to connect to the base first, and then we can find ourselves vortexing up into our higher energies. But a beautiful stone to work with if we're going through that, if we need a holding hand, if we just need a bit of support, just something to tell us that everything's going to be okay, and that we should be going through this, and Shiva will come through and be like, yes, we need to go through this. Sorry, it's going to be destructive, it's going to be devastating, but hey, we need that new growth, we need that new chapter, we need to move. So a beautiful stone for that. I think this is my personal piece. I'm sure this was on my mum's coffin on her funeral. I placed it on there just to help me to deal with that whole episode, and so for me to hold on to it. For me, crystals are good at retaining information. When Bear and me got married, we got married in a circle of amethyst and sodalite tumbles, because they're good at retaining information, and they were our wedding favors. So at the end, my crystal teacher, she invited people to come up and take a tumble away with them, so they've got a little record of our special day. And that's why it signified with me with the Shiva stone on my mum's funeral. I wanted it on the coffin there, just so I've got a little bit of that day, that little bit of goodbye with me always. And Shiva again is going to be that good stone. I don't want it to be attached to rose quartz, because I don't want that emotional and that, you know, I just want that strength, that support, and that I had to go through that. So yeah, Shiva is beautiful. Do you know what? I wish we could do it all over again. Because yeah, we've got so many lovely people in our community now that if we got married again, it would be amazing. So I keep dropping hints with Bear that shall we renew our vows? Shall we do a little bit more, you know? Shall we get some people together? And you know, because we were hand fasting, you might just see at the top the end part of the broom. That was our broom that we jumped over at the wedding, and then attached to the handle there, you'll see our hand fasting cord. So we were hand fasted, but we would I know it's the American spelling, but I love Zs. Yeah, organized, fossilized. I always spell it with a Z. Zs don't get used enough. Bear turned around and was like, "That's the American spelling." I was like, "Yeah, but it's already got two S's. You know, give the S's a break. Bring in a Z. You know." So yeah, you know, I'm not that. I'm fine with fossilized wood. Yeah, if it didn't have those S's, you know, it's same as if it was FOZZ. Then I would put ISED. But for me, no word needs three S's. Two's enough. Bring in the Z for the third one. So yeah, so I do apologise. I do spell fossilized wood with a Z. I don't. I'm not fully converted English. I don't go for an S. So fossilized wood is one of my all-time faves. One of my go-tos. Hey, Catherine. I hope you're well, sweetheart. And this weekend, for those of us who were at the Oasis, there was somebody who talked about the tree and said how tree is a good thing to visualize. And for grounding, if we need grounding, fossilized wood is brilliant. Especially at the moment, if we're not able to go out, if we're not able to connect with nature, and that's our grounding element, that's what we need to just ground. Fossilized wood will do that for you. Really helps you to connect with nature, so we can just sit with it and just feel those tall trees around us, feel that moss below us, the undergrowth, the bushes, the birds. Really bring that into our space. But also, fossilized wood comes in to support us. And if we do think of that tree, we think of those roots. So when I was talking about black tourmaline, and I was saying concrete on our feet, fossilized wood is very much about, I get golf shoes. Okay, I don't know much about sport, but I know that golf shoes have those spikes on the soles. And for me, that's the way that fossilized wood, a little bit longer than the golf shoes, but that's the way I connect to the earth with fossilized wood, is that I feel that there's just these roots coming out the soles of my feet and just penetrating the top of the earth. And then you just think of the trunk as our spinal column. So quite often, and I love watching people walking down the street. I love people watching, and so many people are hunched over, you know, bad posture, just hunched over, looking down to the ground, or they're looking on that blooming phone. And while we're looking down there, whether we've got our phone or not, whether we're just hunched over because we're insecure, we don't feel like we can express to the common folk, we feel like, oh, actually, I don't want to be noticed. I just want to run in and do my bits and bobs, and I just don't want to be here and, you know, very in there. And while we're doing that, we are missing so much opportunities. You know, if we're up and our eyes are engaging on the level, we can see so many things. We could see that, we could see this. Oh, there's that person, you know, so much opportunity is going on there. So yeah, it really brings in that strengthening of our spinal column, really helps us to be up there. But then like the branches, and we see the branches, and at the moment we're going to see so many of these branches because the leaves are falling off, and we can see that they're swaying. So it allows us to still be that little high. If we want to be away with the fairies, we can still be away with the fairies because we're anchored. Our feet are rooting into Mother Earth. They're just softly penetrating with the roots. We've got a lovely straight posture, and we can just flow with ideas, goals, you know, and this is around our head area. So anything we've got going on here, anything creative, anything that we've got that we need to just project out there, then fossilized wood allows us to do that. What's the difference? There's no difference between fossilized wood or petrified wood. It's just down to either or. I just know that wood goes through a different makeup to being fossilized than what a normal fossil would be. So, you know, we get the animal dies, then it gets compacted in that whatever it is, mud, clay, and then it hardens, and then the bones dissolve, and we're left with that fossil. With fossilized wood, the jasper, the quartzes, the opal will go in and replace the bark, the trunk. So it's a different, so that's where petrified comes into, because it has been petrified, it's been turned to stone, it has just been and gone. Whereas fossilized, it's a different kind of approach, but we still use fossilized because it happened millions of years ago, so we can still take on that name. So it's just means the same thing, but for some people they would like to use petrified because it was actually petrified, it was turned to stone rather than being encased in a stone. It wasn't encased, it got turned, its whole thing got turned into stone rather than it being encased in minerals that then turned it in. So yeah, so fossilized wood is one of my amazing, and again, it's not heavy. If we feel, you know, we can still walk, we can still be there, but it's just so lovely, nurturing, nurture, nature. Yeah, if we're somebody that loves the green, it might be that it loves the green. I don't know if I can say that. I don't mean the green, I mean the scenery, the outside's green. You see, even with the base crystals, they don't keep me that grounded. They can still take me to a little bit of a fun place, and this is what I like, because a lot of people say that the base chakra stones are dull, heavy, boring. Why do we want to work on the base? You know, it's a physical chakra, but we still have fun, and we still have a lot of giggles on our workshops. So the mood is still light. I mean, we start with the heavy ones, and then we work on throughout the day to the lighter ones, and we end on a nice light energy. So yeah, it's not all heavy there. And as you can see, it still has effects on you. You still feel very woo. But yeah, that's fossilized wood, one of my favorites for grounding. Beautiful. Yeah, it's actually really just wiped my mind. I don't know whether I've said enough about fossilized wood. I'll move on to my next one, and if I know I've got other things to say about fossilized wood, I'll jump to it. And you all should know me by now how much I love rhodonite. We have such a special connection. We just gel. And although it can be a heart chakra stone to bring in that grounding there, I spoke about it earlier on about ruby and garnet, but this would be my go-to for grounding in the heart center is rhodonite. But this came onto the base chakra just to really show people that we just need a little bit of grounding. And for me, rhodonite allows me to be that toy kite. So I am there again, I'm away with the fairies. I want to expand, I want to meet ET's mum. I want to go off to the other realms. And all there is that slither of line that person is holding. And that is sometimes all we need, is just that little bit of grounding. We just need to make sure that our feet are on the ground. And if our feet are on the ground, we're grounded. That's all we need. We don't need to be buried 6 foot under. We don't need heaviness. We just need to know that, okay, this is home. This is where I belong. This is where I feel safe. This is where I feel supported. This is where I feel grounded. Okay, now let's go. There's a lot of people out there who don't like to ground when they're working with Moldavite or Tektites or Hyovites, because they feel that there might be a contradiction between the grounding stones and the higher vibes. There is not. Okay, the grounding stones are purely there to make sure you come back to where you left. Without those grounding stones, this is where we get these plastic shamans. This is where we get these far out manic people, and we've seen them at our stall. And you know, this is where rhodonite comes in handy, because so many people won't register rhodonite as being grounding. They're like, oh, that's a lovely stone, and they hold it, and I think, thank the Lord you've come back to earth. So yeah, please don't ever think that, oh, by having something grounding at our feet or in our pockets by the thighs is going to interfere or interrupt us, whatever it is we're using for a high vibe. It won't. They will complement each other, and you will feel the full force, as though you're not using the grounding, but use the grounding, because it's going to bring us back to where we left. And it's really important we do that. It's so important, because if we're not grounded and we're playing with too many high vibes, then, you know, things are going to go astray. We're going to start noticing we're not taking responsible for things. We're going to find we're very unstable. Yeah, and we're just going to find irresponsible things are happening to us, and it's because we're not in that box. We're not got that square foundation block secure on us for us to then go off. So yeah, but rhodonite, again, supportive, hugely supportive. Really comes, and it comes to us when we feel that we are alone, when we feel that, you know, there's nobody else out there, we're on our own. What is the point of us carrying on? Why am I here for? Why was I born? What's my existence? And it will come to us. It will give us that hug. It will give us that reassurance, but it will also remind us to never forget where we've come from. I know there's a Take That song in there somewhere, but we don't. And it's important that we don't forget where we've come from. And it's why I've enjoyed coming on tonight to talk about the bass. So it reminds me where I've come from with these live videos and with our workshops. You know, my first ever workshop was about the bass. So it's always important that I never forget where I came from. And rhodonite does that. It reminds us of our ancestors, reminds us of our family, reminds us of those who have passed over, and really gives us that we are here for a reason. Do not give up. And so yeah, grandmother hug, mother hug, rhodonite just gives us that, and it's just that reassurance. It's just that, okay, I'll carry on. I've got a few more days left. Let's go. And yeah, you know, because you never know what's around that corner. Yeah, and just don't give up. So I love rhodonite. Such a beautiful stone to have on the base chakra, and so many people have welcomed it, working with it on the base chakra, and it can bring up those emotions. Again, at the beginning of this video, I said that, you know, from the womb to the age of 7, if anything happened through those years, it can still be seeded there. If we've not dealt with it, it can still be in the base chakra. So whether we are in our 20s, 50s, 70s, working with rhodonite can start to bring those seeds up, can start to, oh, okay, I didn't realize that that was still there. Oh, I need to work on that. So we do get quite teary, get a few tears when we've worked with rhodonite at the end of it, because it's just a lovely stone to end the connections with the base crystals. And it just brings up any sort of emotions that are connected there, which are perhaps giving us a little bit of instability, perhaps not making us so safe as we should be in ourselves. So yeah, so rhodonite is in the base and I love it. So they are the 6 crystals that we work with. And as I said, we then work on the pendulum after the lunchtime. We work with that to see our yes and our no's, because if we've worked with pendulums before, or if we work with a pendulum, we know what our yes sign is and we know what our no sign is. And if we place a pendulum over our chakras, if it gives us our yes sign, it means we've got an over. If it gives us our yes sign, it means yes, more. So we're working with an underactive chakra. Yes, more. We need to feed it to bring it into balance. If it's given us our no circle, then no more. We're working with an overactive. We don't want any more energy going in there. We need to take away. So Smoky Quartz, Black Tourmaline would be great to take away that energy to bring us back into balance. Okay, if we need more, then Garnet might be great there, and Fossilized wood would be great there to bring that up there. Shiva and rhodonite there to bring in that support while that is happening. So yeah, and then we do some practicals on the couches. We go into grids of these crystals. So if some people were struggling to connect by holding, then we go into a grid of 4 pieces of tourmaline, 4 pieces of smoky quartz, 4 pieces of wood, garnet, and we go through those just so they might feel a little bit more being in that bubble of that crystal. And then we go about at the end sorting out the base chakra. So learning what we've learned throughout the day, we then put that into a technique at the end where we then work with our partner, see how their base chakra is feeling, and put on the crystals that we feel is needed on that base chakra. And that is the base chakra layout. So then when we go on to do the next one, to do the sacral, we will still work on the base chakra layout. We'll still work on the base, still put the stones there, but then all the techniques that we learned for the sacral, we then put onto the sacral chakra, because we spent the whole day working with the sacral stones, and so forth and so forth. So we're really going on a journey. We're really going on a self-discovery of the chakras. I know people do 7 chakras in a day. And when I first did the base chakra as a full day workshop, somebody said, can you honestly do a full day on the base? And I went, no, I could honestly do it in 2 days, because you could. You really could do it on there. But it's just so nice just to take the time for that chakra and then give you those tools to keep using, to keep going, working with that base chakra, feeling what needs to be put out, what needs to be brought in, what it is that needs for it to be balanced, and then come back and do the sacral. Whereas if we did the base sacral, all 7 chakras in a day, one, like me, when I first started collecting crystals, I'd go into Razzmatazz in Nuki, and I would, you know, buy several crystals. Yep, yep. Oh, that's that. Okay. By the time I get home, I open up my bag, and I think, oh, what was that one called? What was that one for? So if we came and did 7 chakras in one day, and you brought 7 crystals for each chakra, when you went home, how confident would you be knowing that was for the base, that was for the throat, that was for the third eye? Or would you be like, oh, was it indigo for the third eye, or was it blue for the third eye and indigo for the throat? So by working all day on just the base, whatever you go away with, whatever crystals you purchase, you know that those crystals are just for the base. And then when you come to the sacral, all the crystals we work with on the sacral are for the sacral chakra, until we get to the afternoon layouts where we bring in the base crystals again to balance the base chakra, but then we work on the sacral, and so forth and so forth and so forth, until we have a lovely balance. And yeah, it was just such a shame this year that circumstances happened that we didn't get to go on, because this year I'm meant to have done the throat, the third eye, and the chakra, the crown chakra workshops, releasing those 3, because then next year I was going to start bringing in the higher chakras. So I still always release the base chakra workshop. I always still release the sacral, because they were first released in 2018. And once I got people on board with those and realizing that actually they want to carry on going, then 2019 I brought in the solar plexus, and then I brought in the heart weekend. That's a weekend workshop where we deal with the greens on the Saturday, we deal with the green stones, and then on the Sunday we bring in the pinks, the higher heart chakra stones, and we work with those. And then yeah, and so then this year would have been throat, third eye, and crown. I managed to do 1 throat workshop, which Belinda, I think you have accomplished. And this is it. You know, Belinda says she feels like doing the workshop again. Once people have done the sacral chakra, because sometimes there can be gaps between them ready to go on to do the solar plexus, or there might be a gap between doing the solar plexus and the heart. If I'm doing a workshop that's either the base or the sacral, the ones that they've already done, I don't mind bringing them back for a refresher. I don't mind. I call them helpers, where they join the recruits and they just get a refresh. They just get recapped. So Belinda, when I do my base chakra workshop, I would love for you to be my helper for that, sweetheart. So yeah. Oh, thank you, Ange. Ah, that's really nice. So yeah, so that is that. I mean, the mantra for the base or the root chakra is I am. So if we're doing any affirmations, if we want to work on the base chakra, just work with affirmations of I am. I am grounded. I am safe. I am supported. I am providing myself with shelter. I am doing good. Whatever we're doing. And if we're doing these affirmations, do them in the mirror. See what your face is pulling while you're saying those affirmations, and make them up. You know, fit them to your situation, to your lifestyle, you know, but just put the I am there, because I am resonates with the base. The sacral is I feel. The solar plexus is I can, I do. The heart is I love. The throat is I speak or I express. The third eye is I see. And the crown is I know. And it's really nice when we get to the crown chakra, because it's I know, I am, I know. So I know who I am. So it's a really nice circuit, really nice thing to complete. But so yeah, I hope that was helpful. It was so nice to cover it again. I'm sure there's lots more, but we'll cover all that when we do the full day workshop. We go through the worksheet, make sure everything's ticked off. But I just thought I would come on because I know there's so many people who missed out on these the first time round, and they're not saved anywhere. So it's nice to do this, and that is there. So yeah, but any questions at all, anything, please either comment or message me later on or in the next couple of days. Tomorrow we're not around. I'm Zooming my son. Wednesday is our new home for the market, for our marketplace, which is now at 7 o'clock. Biggles has took all photography. The preview page for anyone who would like to look is on our event page on Dan ROX. So go on to Dan ROX, our business page. You'll see in the events section, Crystal Market preview page. Go onto that, go onto the discussions tab, and you'll see all the pictures that are coming up on Wednesday. And then Thursday, we're not going to be about because we want to make space for the radio show. My show, Crystal Faunacopia, which is on UK Serenity Radio. That's at 6 o'clock. And this week I'm talking about hedgehog and amber and how I feel that those two resonate and how amber can bridge us in with hedgehog energy. And then Friday, we should be doing our communal quiz on Zoom. This is a nice little evening now where we come together. We used to supply the crystals, but now we've got communal. People want to take on a round and do 5 questions to bring to the group. So it's a real nice vibe on a Friday evening where we all get together and we do a round each, and it's great. I love it. So if anyone would like to join in with that, you don't have to bring questions. You can just come and participate, or you can just come and spectate. We do have people who come in and they just sit and watch and just love the vibe. So there's plenty of things that we can do on the Friday. And then Saturday night is our first special guest night on the Saturday night. And it's the lovely Fenella from Fenny Ray Healing. She's going to be coming on board to join us. So that is great. And I've also been in touch because I love the Oasis weekend. I get to meet some amazing people and get to be in touch with them. And we had 2 amazing ladies yesterday come on board. We had the lovely Kat Shaw who came on to talk about Kylie, the not the pop princess, Kylie, the Hindu goddess. And she would love to come on to Dan ROX. So she's coming on one Saturday evening to talk a little bit more and a little bit more in depth about Kylie and any other goddesses that people might connect to. And also the beautiful Susie Grace. She's a great friend of ours. We've missed her so much this year, and she would love to come on board. So I've managed to snag a couple from Oasis to come on to do some special guests for us. Oh, thank you, Shardy. It will be really nice. One of the first workshops we're going to do will be the bass. We'll get the bass one sorted, and maybe I think the heart weekend. I just need to look on because we do have a group page for those who have started what I call the chakra journey, and that's Dan ROX Healing Hands. I know we've got so many people that are wanting to join, but you can't join that group because that is just for those people who have done the started the chakra workshops, and that's just there for me so I can keep a tally of what people have been on, where am I at, who's coming up next. And I think my largest group is to go into the heart weekend. So definitely the base and the heart weekend are one of my first two. Addy, what would you say is the best stone for instilling a sense of safety? Protection itself isn't needed, but the security of feeling safe. You've got it, girl. Absolutely. I would say give rhodonite a go. Rhodonite, Shiva, or fossilized wood would definitely be there. You know, there'll be one of my three choices for that one. Yeah, Kat was amazing. So yeah, we've been talking today, and she will come on board. Same as Cloud Song. Cloud Song should be coming on this month. I need to drop him a buzz and to see how he is. So yeah, lovely stuff coming up this week. So yeah, thank you all so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and see you throughout the week. Shardy, if I don't see you before, I'm sending you so much healing, sending you a big healing hug for you for Wednesday. All right, guys, see you all soon. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.